54 nations, the continent is moving, innovating, and inspiring, from the cities that never sleep to the villages that hold our roots. From politics and business to culture, technology, and the arts, we bring you the stories shaping today and tomorrow. My name is Rhoda Mlenga, and this is Africa in Perspective. We'll get into our stories for today. We start with Libya. Now, a boat carrying 55 migrants, including 2 babies, has capsized off the coast of Libya, leaving only 2 survivors. According to the United Nations Migrations Agency, the International Organization for Migration said the rubber boat overturned after taking on water about 6 hours after it left the northwestern Libyan city of Zawiya. Now, the passengers were migrants and refugees from several African countries. 2 Nigerian women survived and were rescued by Libyan authorities on Friday. The remaining passengers are feared dead. Now, the boat is believed to have departed late at night and capsized in the early hours of Friday near the coastal town of Zuwara, west of the capital Tripoli. It is not yet clear why details of the incident only emerged several days later. The IOM says nearly 500 migrants have been reported dead or missing so far in 2026 while attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea from Libya to Europe. In January alone, at least 375 people were reported dead or missing after a number of shipwrecks during severe winter, with the true number feared to be higher. Now, Libya has become a major departure point and of course this time around we go to Senegal. Now, say they have arrested 14 people and broken up a pedophile gang operating between the country and France. Those arrested, who are all Senegalese, were part of a transnational criminal group that has been, of course, in operation for quite some time now, since 2017. According to a police statement, it said the group was accused of organized pedophilia, pimping, rape of minors under 15, sodomy, and intentional transmission of HIV and AIDS. They allegedly repeatedly forced boys to have unprotected sex with men who were mostly HIV positive and filmed it. 4 of the accused are said to have been acting on instructions of a Frenchman arrested in France in April 2025 in exchange for money transfers. The 14 accused were brought before a judge on Friday following searches in several neighborhoods in Dakar and the city of Kaolack, 200 kilometers southeast of the capital. Now, a police statement released on Sunday said coordinated raids had been carried out at the homes of the various suspects, with items believed to be linked to the alleged crimes seized. The Criminal Investigations Division carried out a major operation dismantling a transnational organized criminal group whose members are based primarily between France and Senegal, the police said. Now, the statement also said that the operation was conducted through cooperation between Senegal and France, with a delegation of France officers involved in the mission. The police have pledged to continue pursuing and dismantling such criminal networks and have released a toll-free number for the public to report any relevant information. Let's have a look at this.
Police in Senegal say they've broken up a paedophile gang operating between France and the West African country. Investigators carried out a major operation dismantling a transnational organized criminal group, the force said in a statement on Sunday. 14 people appeared in court on Friday, charged with organized paedophilia, pimping, rape of minors under 15, sodomy and intentional transmission of HIV/AIDS. All the defendants are Senegalese. 4 of them are accused of having acted on the instructions of a Frenchman arrested in northern France last year. Police say the group has been active since 2017. Members allegedly forced young boys to have unprotected sex with men, most of whom were HIV positive. Police carried out raids in Dakar and the city of Kaolack.
That is courtesy of AfricanNews.com. Now we do move on to Eritrea. Eritrea has rejected accusations from Ethiopia that its troops have crossed into Ethiopian territory, dismissing the claims as false amid rising tensions between the two neighbors. Now the dispute escalated after Ethiopia's foreign minister sent a letter to his Eritrean counterpart demanding the withdrawal of Eritrean forces. The letter accused Eritrea of engaging in aggressive actions, including moving troops deeper into Ethiopia's northeastern border areas and conducting joint military maneuvers with rebel groups along the northwestern frontier, as well as supplying those groups with weapons. Eritrea responded by accusing Ethiopia of pursuing a sustained campaign of hostility against it over the past 2 years. Now, relations between Ethiopia and Eritrea have long been strained since Eritrea gained independence from Ethiopia 3 decades ago. The two countries fought a devastating border war between 1998 and 2000 that claimed more than 100,000 lives, and a subsequent peace agreement was never fully implemented. Now, ties improved in 2018 when Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed visited Eritrea's capital, Asmara, an initiative that later earned him the Nobel Prize. However, concerns about renewed conflict have resurfaced as relations deteriorate once again. Although the two governments were allies during Ethiopia's recent civil war, when Eritrea backed Ethiopian forces against Tigrayan fighters, recent developments suggest a breakdown in that cooperation, though Ethiopian officials now warn that Eritrea's alleged military actions signal a deliberate escalation, further heightening fears of instability in the Horn of Africa. Let's move on to South Africa and see what's happening in the world of sport. Now, South Africa's sports minister has moved to clarify reports that the country will host the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, saying no formal decision has been taken to relocate the tournament from Morocco. The clarification follows comments by Deputy Sports Minister Peace Mabe, who announced that South Africa would stage the finals scheduled to begin on the 17th of March. Her remarks suggested Morocco was no longer in a position to host and that South Africa was ready to take over. Now, later on, Sports Minister Gayton Mackenzie said Morocco remains the officially designated host of the tournament and that no alternative hosting process to a confirmation of hosting duties, but rather an expression of readiness to assist in the cup if CAF deems it necessary. According to Mackenzie, CAF is still engaged in consultations and contingency planning, and South Africa's involvement is part of broader discussions aimed at ensuring the smooth organization of the continental competition. Now, CAF has been approached for a comment on the matter. Morocco is expected to host WAFCON of course, for the third consecutive time, reflecting years of investment in football infrastructure as the country prepares to co-host the 2030 FIFA World Cup. Its commitment to women's football has helped CAF overcome difficulties in securing hosts for the tournament, which traditionally draws smaller crowds than the Men's Africa Cup of Nations, of course. Now, South Africa has reportedly submitted a bid to host the 2028 Men's AFCON, with Mackenzie indicating that the government is pursuing a long-term strategy focused on attracting major international sporting events. He also noted that the Deputy Minister's comments aligned with South Africa's established role in supporting African football and its track record as a host nation. With just over 6 weeks remaining before the expanded 16-team tournament is due to begin, any last-minute change of host would present significant logistical challenges, even though South Africa has 13 CAF-approved stadiums available. Let's move on to Burkina Faso. Now, in Burkina Faso, Burkina Faso's transitional parliament on Monday approved a bill banning all political parties in a move observers say allows the military junta led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré to consolidate control. Now, the text, which received no opposition from lawmakers, repeals the Charter of Political Parties and the law relating to the financing of parties, electoral campaigns, and the status of the political opposition. Political party activities have been suspended in the Sahel country since the army seized power in 2022. On Thursday, the United Nations Rights Chief called on the Burkina Faso government to halt all repression of civic space and overturn its plan to prohibit all political parties. In July, Burkinabé authorities enacted a restrictive new law on freedom of association and in November issued a new decree requiring non-governmental organizations and associations to open and maintain cash accounts exclusively with a state-run bank. A government minister has defended the ban as a reset, which ends the polarization of the population, which he blamed on political parties. Let's have a look.
Burkina Faso's transitional parliament on Monday approved a bill banning all political parties in a move observers say allows the military junta led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré to consolidate control. The text, which received no opposition from lawmakers, repeals the Charter of Political Parties and the law relating to the financing of parties, electoral campaigns, and the status of the political opposition. Political party activities have been suspended in the Sahel country since the army seized power in 2022. On Thursday, the United Nations Rights Chief called on the Burkina Faso government to halt all repression of civic space and to overturn its plan to prohibit all political parties. In July, Burkinabé authorities enacted a law on freedom of association and in November issued a new decree requiring non-government organizations and associations to open and maintain cash accounts exclusively with a state-run bank. The government minister has defended the ban as necessary to end the polarization of the population.
And that news clip is courtesy of AfricanNews.com. Now, that item does bring us to the end of our special edition of Africa in Perspective. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us and for staying informed and for seeing Africa through a lens that matters. Until next time, it is goodbye.